What is good, y'all? It's your boy, The Shells, and if you're new to the channel, welcome to Shells World TV. So as you can tell by the title, you know what this video is about already. So I am giving every viewer fair warning. If you haven't seen Avengers Endgame, click out of this video right now. That's my disclaimer because I don't want anybody saying I didn't say it. So I'm giving you the opportunity right now to click out of the video. Hope you did it already. Okay? So let's just get into this spoiler review. First off, I'll say Avengers Endgame, a rating 1 through 10, I give it solid 9 out of 10. This movie was super solid. Everything was good about it. I really don't have too many complaints except for one. There were two people arguing in the beginning of when the movie had started. They were cussing at each other, a male and female. I'm not sure where they were exactly, but they were like maybe 2-3 rows at the bottom of where I was. I could have done without that, but anyway. So I had wrote some notes here when it was fresh in my head when I came home because I wanted to get some rest before I had managed to, start reviewing this movie. Alright guys, so let's get into it. So the first thing, Tony, obviously, he had discovered a way to use time travel, so they could undo what Thanos did in Infinity War. And, they figured out that they could go at different points in time, starting with the Battle of New York back in 2012 with the first Avengers movie. But before that, right, it was Nebula who was telling them where Thanos had went to rest after using the Infinity Stones, right? They saw that he used the Infinity Stones again. And so, before that, I don't want to jumble all this up. Captain Marvel had actually managed to save Nebula and Tony when they were in space, stuck in the ship for the Guardians of the Galaxy. So she brought them back to Earth because, obviously from the last movie, telling her origin story, we see that obviously Nick Fury uses the pager to page her from the Infinity War scene. So she was traveling back in space to get back to Earth. So I'm gonna say somewhere along the way, she must have seen them and brought them back to Earth. Now I'm wondering if those post credits that we saw, was it before or after Captain Marvel had saved Tony and Nebula? I'm gonna say this was more than likely after she saved them. Or maybe it was just something made for the post credits in Captain Marvel. But yeah. And also, just to keep it going, by accident, Ant-Man was brought back to Earth, from the quantum realm. The quantum realm. Why can't I speak today? Yeah, from the quantum realm. If you remember from when he was in Ant-Man and the Wasp, because that was obviously before the snap. And he came back to realize that, most people were gone from Earth, and this was after 5 years, as it's shown in the film. You see a grown-up Cassie. Now, I'm not too sure if the mom and the stepdad were alive, but I'm gonna assume they weren't. Now, I'm jumping all over the place, guys, but if you saw the movie, then you already know what I'm speaking on here. But even before that, right? Thor, Nebula, Tony, Captain Marvel. Who else am I? Oh yeah, Rocket. They all went to the planet which Thanos was on, and Thor had used the Stormbreaker, chopped off Thanos' head clean off. Didn't think they were gonna show that in the movie, but it was a pretty cool scene right there. Of course, he made a joke. I went for the head because, as you know, Thanos had said to him, "You should have went for the head" at the end of Infinity War. Yeah. So 5 years ahead, as you know, Ant-Man, he comes out the quantum realm. He goes to the Avengers headquarters. They talk about the time travel, and just so happens that Tony was discovering his own way to make it work, and so he went along and showed them how to make it happen. They were doing some test trials and whatnot. So once they had figured out that it could actually work, that they could, bring the stones back, to actually undo some of what Thanos has done. It was a crazy long journey, but of course, unfortunately, because of the Soul Stone and the requirement of the Soul Stone, to sacrifice a life, as you know with Gamora, she died during the events of Infinity War. With this movie now, unfortunately, Black Widow dies, retrieving the Soul Stone. Hawkeye was going to sacrifice himself, but instead, Black Widow did it. So when they were receiving the Time Stone during the Battle of New York, it was actually revealed that Doctor Strange and his people, they were actually involved with the battle in hiding. So Hulk had been astral projected, by that lady. I'm trying to remember her name. If I don't remember the name, I'll put it in the video. They were talking, and so he ended up convincing her to give up the stone, because at the time Doctor Strange had not been, obviously, became a hero yet. And so he tells her that Doctor Strange gave the Time Stone to Thanos willingly, and so she figured it must have been for a good reason, so she gave up the stone after that. And obviously Hulk and Banner are now back together. I forgot to mention, Hulk and Banner actually managed to merge somehow, to the sophisticated Bruce Banner as the Hulk, as you see throughout the movie. When they were retrieving the Reality Stone, right, Thor and Rocket had actually went to go do this, and Thor had ran into his mom, but his mom had already figured out that basically that Thor was not, from the future, was not from the past. It was from the future, and so she was able to figure it out pretty easily. And so you do what you have to do and keep it moving, so that things don't get tangled up in the timeline. So Rocket was able to use some kind of prod to bring the Reality Stone out of Jane. When Tony, Captain America, and Ant-Man went to go get the Tesseract, aka the Space Stone, during the Battle of New York, unfortunately, Tony ran into an accident with the Hulk of that time, and so the Space Stone had got out the briefcase. Loki found it, he escaped. So then they went back to the 70s. Tony and Captain America, they went back to the 70s to get the Tesseract there, where Tony had an interaction with his father during the time. There was a funny gag going throughout the movie with Thor, being drunk and fat because he had given up on the battle and everything after the 5 years had passed, after the events of Infinity War. He was still able to, go around beating up villains and whatever, but he was still fat and drunk at the time. And Valkyrie had been found to be alive, along with the other Asgardians that survived the Thanos situation from the ship, from Infinity War. So, like I said, man, this is all over the place, but I'm giving you, the basics, what you need to know. So War Machine, Rhodey and Nebula, they went to, I believe it was Morad. That's the planet, right? For Guardians of the Galaxy from the 2014 movie. So they went there to go, retrieve the Power Stone before Peter Quill got to it, obviously, because this was before Guardians of the Galaxy had started. As they were retrieving the Power Stone, the nebula of the timeline for Infinity War was being questioned by Thanos and Ebony Maw. And so there was a frequency jam going on, and so memories had started to play from that timeline intertwining with the other timeline, and then Thanos was able to figure out everything from that, because Thanos is just so smart, you know. He too smart, I think, in my opinion, and that's why he was able to figure it out. That basically he finds out in the future that he defeats the Avengers, and that they eventually ended up killing him after that 5-year time period after Infinity War. So he went over to Morag immediately to try and retrieve the other stones. Nebula was captured, switching off from the Nebula that was of the Guardians of the Galaxy time, right, so that they could fool the other Avengers eventually, you know, near the end of the movie. There's a pretty cool moment at the end of the movie when we find out that Captain America was actually worthy the entire time to pick up Mjolnir, the other hammer, which I had forgot to mention that Thor had actually gotten from the timeline of the Dark World movie. He was able to retrieve that back, because you know the hammer got smashed in Thor and Ragnarok, so he was able to retrieve the Mjolnir hammer back from, you know, Dark World. So it was actually found out through the movie during the battle with Thanos at the end that Captain America was able to pick up not just Mjolnir but also Stormbreaker, which was pretty cool, because Thor and Captain America were trading off fighting moves while fighting the rest of Thanos' army, which was pretty cool. If you remember from Age of Ultron, when they show Steve Rogers trying to pick up the hammer and it was actually working a bit. So it was confirmed in this movie that it actually did work, and he was wielding lightning and everything. It was so insane to me, but cool at the same time, you know. So Doctor Strange actually was able to bring most of the people back to that battle, which was awesome, because you could see everyone pulling up, the way it was all seamlessly going along, you know, bringing everyone back to the fold to bring down Thanos and his people. It was so insane. Thanos' ship was starting to fire off missiles again. They got distracted by something, so they were all wondering what was in the sky, and obviously it was Carol Danvers coming down to Earth, destroying the ship. One fell swoop, started fighting Thanos, and, you know, actually, come to think of it, Captain Marvel was giving Thanos a business. The only reason he was able to get her off of him was because of the Power Stone. Thanos kept trying to get back his own gauntlet with the stones, you know, so that he could snap again, you know, to try and kill off everybody again. But luckily, Strange had, you know, signaled to Tony that this was the one chance that he was actually talking about the entire time. So he was, you know, basically going after Thanos and trying to distract him and everything. And you could see that, you know, eventually he was able to get off all the stones from that gauntlet, or get it away from the gauntlet to get to his gauntlet that he had made for the stones. Because actually, Hulk had managed to snap with the Infinity Gauntlet that they made for Iron Man, so that it could bring back the people, you know, way before in the movie. Like I said, it's all over the place, guys, bear with me. So Tony gets a hold of the gauntlet that he made and got a hold of all the stones and was able to put them all together, and he snaps his fingers, and Thanos, along with all of his people, his army and everybody, just dead. That was just pretty epic. Of course, unfortunately, unlike, you know, Bruce Banner as Hulk, who survived, the power was too much for Tony, so he ended up dying, which was unfortunate, but I feel like it was a good sound off. And I actually saw a cool cameo of Stan Lee in the 70s, you know, with somebody in a car, I think like a wife or something, you know, that he was playing. A little bit of a tearjerker moment there, not gonna lie. But it was a fitting moment still, seeing Tony sacrifice his life. It's just unfortunate also that, you know, Black Widow had to die for the Soul Stone, because it couldn't be undone. So they couldn't bring her back even if they wanted to. So at the end of the movie now, they're at the funeral, and Captain America decides to go back in time so that he can bring back the Stones to where they originally were. And thinking about what Tony said about having a family, a life, and whatever, he decided that he was gonna now grow old with Peggy. Because if you remember the flashback from the 70s, you could actually see Peggy in her office for, S.H.I.E.L.D. So they decided to grow old together, as you see at the end of the movie. He comes back and he's old and he hands off his shield to Sam Wilson, aka Falcon. And there were no end credit scenes. There was nothing to be seen of that. But like I said, overall the movie was pretty epic, man. And no lie, I would watch it again. It was a fitting end. Like I said, it's crazy how they had to kill off Black Widow and Iron Man, but it was still, I think it was fitting. I think they did it justice. The Russos definitely did it again. Like I said, I give the movie a 9 out of 10. I'm definitely looking forward to Spider-Man Far From Home and the other movies that come out in the MCU. And that's the end of my review, guys. Like I said, spoilers, obviously. If you were still watching the video, that's on you. I gave the disclaimer at the beginning. You know what I mean? So, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy my review, please leave a like, share, comment, and or subscribe. I make new videos for every Thursday, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be uploading this Thursday, but if I don't upload this Thursday, then definitely next Thursday, okay? Don't forget to hit the bell to be notified every time I make a new video. Follow me on social media for my Instagram and Twitter so you can see more updates from me as time goes on. Links will be in the description down below. Follow me on the Like app at World Shows. The link is in the description down below where I post more videos that I can't show here because of copyright situations, alright? Alright, man. So it's your boy The Shows, and I will see you guys next time when I upload. Peace.